Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you're interested to see how I got this look using only drugstore makeup, keep on watching. So this video I'm excited to do because I haven't done anything like this on my channel so far. This is a little mini drugstore haul. I'm going to be testing out some products. I'm not a big user of drugstore makeup. I like my high-end or like things you can get at like Ulta, Morphe, ColourPop, things like that. Like I'm drawn into that kind of makeup rather than like stuff you can pick up at Walmart. But like me and my mom were walking through and it just kind of grabbed me and I thought this would be a really fun video to do. So we'll get started. Okay, for foundation, I picked up Aqua Smooth by CoverGirl. I picked up the shade Classic Ivory. Now this foundation comes in like a solid compact form. It's supposed to transform to liquid on the skin, then dry down to like a powdery finish. So we'll see. But this foundation was actually a go-to of my mom and sisters back in the day. So I'm excited to try this. I have actually tried this before, but it's been so long ago that I cannot remember. I mean, I was probably like 13, so we're gonna give this a shot. Okay, I am gonna be using the little sponge applicator that they give. Just taking a decent amount, got that on my nail. And we're gonna work that into the skin. Okay, right off the bat, this color match looks good. Not as full coverage as what I'm used to. I'm building this up quite a bit. It looks very lightweight and natural. I see that stippling motion seems to be the best way to apply this product because when you swipe it, it removes the product. So I don't think a brush would be ideal with this. Okay, so I've got the foundation applied right off the bat. The finish of it is actually really beautiful. It's a very natural finish. It's not dewy or matte. It's just kind of that really nice, happy medium. Coverage wise, this is a lot lighter coverage than what I'm used to. I'm used to pretty full coverage foundations, at least medium to full coverage. So this is a little different for me, but it does feel like it's setting down on the skin. It does have more of a powdery finish now, which is nice because I wasn't expecting that when I applied it because any swiping motion just removed the product at all. So I'm surprised that this feels as set down as it does. For concealer, I picked up Neutrogena Radiant Creamy Concealer. So I'm excited to try this. I would really like to find a drugstore concealer that I actually liked. But I don't know that I've even tried one, so I should give them a chance. The doe foot for this looks more like a lip gloss applicator, which is a little different, but I don't mind it. And I picked up the shade Light 2. Color-wise, this is not as light as what I'm used to going, but the lighter version of this was like white, so I didn't want to go just like super bright, so I went with the one more similar to my skin tone. It's pretty radiant, but I think once I set it down with powder, it'll be pretty doable. Now, I did not pick up a setting powder. The Coty Airspun I know is a popular one. Since I am so picky about powders, I didn't want to be stuck with something that I absolutely hated. So I am going to be going in with my Huda Beauty because that's my go-to. So if the foundation or the concealer looks absolutely like garbage, I'll be able to tell because it's not the powder. Okay, back in with my mirror. That actually looks pretty good. Better than what I was expecting. I was out of everything, I was expecting the concealer to probably be the worst, but this actually looks really nice. For bronzer, I picked up Rimmel Natural Bronzer in the shade 020. This is Sunshine. This looked like a pretty light, fairly neutral bronzer. It does appear to have a top coat of glitter, but that might be an overspray. So I'm gonna give this a go. Ooh, a lot of kick up in the pan. A lot of kick up. Color wise, I like this. This is nice and light. It's not a dark, like in your face bronzer or too orangey. This does look pretty neutral. and it applies pretty smooth. Now, I do see hints of glitter. I was thinking that it would be an overspray, but it does look like it is throughout the formula, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. A radiant bronzer can actually be quite beautiful, but it's not something I gravitate towards often. Okay, that looks pretty nice actually. For blush, I picked up Wet n Wild Nudist Society. So this blush is really like, this is my ideal shade of blush. But again, it has glitter over it. So hopefully that's just an overspray, because I don't really want glitter on my cheeks, but we'll see. Okay, first thing I am noticing with all these powder products, the amount of kick up is a lot. A lot. Whew, and pigmented too. Okay, so one dip for both cheeks is going to be plenty for me, because I don't really like a blushy look. So I'm just going to kind of buff that out a little bit. Okay, this definitely does have a radiance to it. I can see just a little bit of a sheen when I turn my face in the light. But it is a beautiful color. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. I picked up a lip liner from L'Oreal. This is in the shade 100 Matte in Manhattan. This looked like that pretty like orangey red, so I'm excited to try this. I am picky with my lip liners because I want them to last. I don't want them to smudge. I want them to hold my lipstick in place. I don't want this nasty runny mess that just rubs off. I want it to stay in place. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. Okay, right off the bat, the formula does feel a little bit dry. It doesn't quite glide as smooth as what I'm used to, like with my Maybelline lip liner. But it's not bad either. Okay, that color is gorgeous. Like absolutely fire engine orangey red, and I love it. Okay, next up for my lipstick is another L'Oreal product. This is in the shade I Radiate, which is number 436. I'm excited about this because this color is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I like the shape of the doe foot. I like a pointed doe foot because I have such a high cupid's bow that it makes it really nice. Okay, right off the bat, this formula is super wet. It feels very similar to YSL Tattooage Couture. The color is also similar. It's not a super high pigmented formula, but it's extremely lightweight and extremely comfortable. I'm going to go in just with a little bit more. I'm glad I feathered in my lip liner a little bit so it is a little bit smoother of a fade. That feels fantastic on the lips. Like super lightweight. I'm interested to see how this dries down because this could be an absolute go-to. Do I need to grab a YSL Tattooage Couture in that orange shade that I recommended that is actually sold out? I think I do. 1 second. Okay, so I just went and got my YSL Tattooage Couture in the shade 17. This is the shade that I recommended to you guys that is actually sold out. So I'm going to do a little swatch comparison and see, because this formula feels super similar. And the color itself looks similar as well. So that's YSL and this is L'Oreal. I'm sorry, do those look borderline identical? The one from YSL might have a little bit more pigment to it, but those look so unbelievably similar. The finish of them is similar, the thickness of them, they're both extremely thin. Do we have a dupe on our hands? Because I think we do. Does L'Oreal... Who owns YSL? YSL Beauty. L'Oreal owns YSL Beauty. No wonder it's so similar. We have a dupe. I'm gonna have to try more shades because this is an absolute recommendation for me, is the YSL Tattoos Couture. But if you can get it from L'Oreal at the drugstore when you go to Walmart and get the same formula, do it. Feel a little undone right now. Okay, let's move on. For eyeshadow, I picked up Milani Most Wanted. This palette, just, I like the color story of it. I like that there was mattes and shimmers, so I didn't have to pick up two separate palettes. This is just a really pretty palette to me. And also for the eyes, I picked up Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Knockout, which is this beautiful eggplant shade that somebody already dug their finger into. Now this is one thing, and I'm normally good about this. At the drugstore, you have got to open up your products. This is a no-go for me. That's a shame. I think I'm going to take a tissue and just wipe off that first layer because it's just a really like finger into it. It's not like dug down into it or with the nails or anything like that. So I'm going to wipe this off and I will use this. But that is a shame. That is very off-putting. So, okay, so I just took a tissue and just wiped down that first layer. Alright, for my eyes, I'm going to lay this color down on my lid, kind of buff it up, and then go in with the shadows. So we'll see how this does. Picks up nice on the brush. I can tell with this product that to buff this out, you're going to need a stiff blending brush. The color is beautiful though. It's a little darker on the lid than what I was expecting than what it is in the pan, but it's really pretty though. Alright, this brush is just stained, but I'm going to go in and buff that out. Okay, and it is buffing out. It takes a little bit of work, but it definitely is blending. I'm going to go in with this medium tone brown on a bigger fluffy brush and just place that right over top of that product that we laid down. Little bit of kick up in the pan, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing that you wouldn't get in higher end products. I'm going to take that same shade on a pencil brush and run that along my lower lash line. Alright, with the same brush that I used to lay down the cream shadow, I'm going to be taking this kind of coppery, slightly rose gold shade and laying that all down on the lid. Okay, that looks very creamy. Very, very creamy, and it even looks creamy in the pan. Back in with my blending brush, I'm just going to buff that out. Okay, and with my finger, I'm going to be taking this shade. Those feel really good. Really good. And just kind of tapping that over the lid. Oh yeah, I should have went in with this color originally. I'm going to be taking that all along the lid because that's gorgeous. Taking that even kind of up into my crease a little bit, because I like a shimmer in the crease. That's beautiful. I love this eye look so far. Okay, there's no shimmer inner corner highlight. So I am just going to be taking this bone shade right here and laying that in my inner corner. Just to brighten up just a little bit because this look is getting a little bit dark. Same shade at the brow arch. Just a little bit. I'm going to be kind of laying that down a little bit messy and then taking a blending brush. Same blending brush. Just buff that out just to diffuse that edge a little bit more. Alright, back in with the cream shadow. I'm going to be taking that on a little angled brush and laying that down on my lower lash line. Just to add a little bit of depth and make the color a little bit more cohesive. The pencil brush I went in originally, I'm just going to kind of buff that out. Okay, just to get a little bit wilder with this look, I'm going to take this cream shadow and do a wing. We'll see how it goes. I'm not used to using cream products as wings. Like, I'm used to a felt tip liquid liner, so we'll see how this goes. All right, are they even? No, not at all. Are we gonna ignore it? Yeah, we are. All right, lastly, we're gonna go in with mascara. This is Rimmel Lash Accelerator. This is nothing new to me. I love this mascara. All right, guys, this is the finished look. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Does it look drugstore to you? Does it look high-end? Can you tell a difference? I would love to know what you guys think of it. If you would wear this look, if the lip is too much for this, should I have put a nude on with it? Does it kind of go though? Like, is it kind of fun though? Because I kind of think it is. Also, for that shade of a lipstick, that little amount of transfer is fantastic. Aqua Smooth, first application, didn't love it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the fact that it was sliding away and moving as I was trying to apply it. But once you pat it into the skin, it really does look great. I would definitely wear this because this feels set into the skin. It doesn't feel like it will move at all. It looks very good on the skin, very natural. It's not heavy or cakey or anything like that. My nose doesn't even look like that separation there where the makeup doesn't really stick. It looks good. So I would definitely recommend this. My skin, for those of you who don't know, I am combination oily. I get dry in the winter times. But right now I'm pretty normal to oily through the T-zone. Neutrogena Radiant Creamy Concealer. This looks good as well. I don't think it looks as good as like Tarte Shape Tape, but it does look very good. And for the price point and the difference between a high-end concealer and a drugstore concealer, it's probably worth it, to be honest with you, because I don't know that if I were to see a picture of this makeup versus a high-end makeup look, if I would be able to necessarily tell the difference by how the products performed. This does look very good underneath the eyes. I don't notice any like crepiness, dry, or anything like that settling into my lines more than usual. I do have lined underneath my eyes, so that's going to happen regardless of what type of product I use, so it's not more accentuated with this though. So again, I would recommend this. We're going to have some wins on this one. Bronzer from Rimmel. This is also good. It is a little more orange than what, well, I don't know, on the forehead it's actually not that bad at all. Maybe that's more of the blush, but very smooth application. The only thing with this product, it does have the glitter in it, so you do get a little bit of that radiance, and it's very powdery. You might take a softer bristle brush rather than the more stiff brush, and you might get a better application of it, a little less kick up with it, but it is very pretty. Wet n Wild blush. This I like. I feel like I applied too much, and that's why it's kind of throwing me off. Color wise, it's beautiful, but I feel like I just am really like blushy, so it's a little off for me. The finish is pretty. It does have a sheen, so if you do have enlarged pores like I do, you might want to be careful with it, or either buff with the setting powder afterwards. That would take away that look. But I do, as I turn my face with this ring light, I can see little particles of glitter, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. Color wise, it is beautiful though. Lip liner, as I kissed the back of my hand, very little transfer came, so to me that is a win. I'll know more about this lip liner the more I wear it and actually like wear test it, eat with it, see how it sticks with me throughout the day. It applied very well. It is a little bit more dry than the Maybelline lip liner, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little bit different of a formula. This is listed as a matte lip liner, so that's probably why. Color wise, absolutely gorgeous. This little devil right here, this to me, out of everything, this I am the most impressed with, because this is so similar, if not borderline identical, to YSL. And I much rather go to Walmart and purchase this for under 10 bucks than 30 something for YSL. Color is very similar. You can still see this two swatches. This is YSL, this is the L'Oreal. YSL might be a smidge more orange and a smidge more pigmented, but for the price point, yeah, that's a win. The cream shadow, I like this. I don't necessarily love it for a wing, but underneath my lower lash line and then setting it down on my lid for a base, it was beautiful. For a wing, it might just be because I'm so not used to using gel type liners with a brush. I'm used to felt tip liners. I'm used to liquid and just, you know, just applying it like that. So it's a little thick at the end for me. Color wise, it's absolutely beautiful, but I prefer it for my lower lash line and for setting down on the lid. It did buff out, so if you wanted to wear that just alone, buff it out a little bit more and you'd be good to go. But for a base for my eyeshadow, it's absolutely beautiful. Milani eyeshadows, just off of what I tried, the mattes look like they blend out beautifully. Very pigmented. The shimmers, as per usual, shimmers are just, they're not as like beautiful as what you think they are in the pan. You have high hopes when you see them, but that even comes with like Morphe. This is, the shimmer shades in this palette do remind me of Morphe shimmers because they're pretty in the pan. You see that flakes of glitter, but when they apply, they're a little more dulled down. I could have applied these shimmers with a wet brush, like using a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and got a little more pop with them, but they're still pretty. And with shimmers like this, I'm good with buffing them up into my crease, and I do like that. I like to have that option. I don't always want my shimmers to be so foiled like ABH, so sometimes it is good to have, you know, a little bit more of a satin finish than like those high metallics. Overall, I think this is definitely worth it. It's a good little go-to palette. The component itself is very sturdy. Feels like it would be good to travel with. For the mascara, I already raved about this. This is my go-to mascara. In honor of doing my first drugstore style makeup video, my t-shirt's from Walmart, my earrings are too, as well as my nails. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you need to spend more to feel in fashion, to feel beautiful, because you don't. My entire makeup look cost less than a single bottle of foundation from Pat McGrath. Let that sink in. As someone who owns a large designer collection, you don't need these things. You don't need to spend hundreds upon thousands of dollars to feel in trend or in style or beautiful or anything like that. You don't need these things. So if you shop at Marshall's, Walmart, TJ Maxx, or whatever, you can get good quality pieces from those places. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I would love to know what you guys think of this look. And also, if you're not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would do so. If you want to be notified when I post, hit the bell. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.